Great. Awesome. I think should be mirroring. There we go. Alright. So today we are going to be working on how to draw faces in proportion, which doesn't really sound like it's super hard, but there are some things that, like, you know, it's easier to just explain. And I realized that I did all this and I forgot to grab my pencil. So, stream, I will be right back. Okay, buddy. Okay, I am back. There we go. Something isn't right here. I cannot hear my own music. There we go. I'm going to pull up my stream so that I can hear all of you. Or, no, I'll see all of you more. I'm not playing Jackbox Party Packs, it just leaves it is. Coolio. Alright. I have my stream all up and running. Okay. So the software I am using today is called Sketchbook Pro, and these are, oh, it is not wanting to connect to my pencil. Technical difficulties today. Want to connect now? There we go. So, these are all of my tools. I have the airbrush. This is the technical pen. I have the fountain pen. This is the smudge pen, which I don't usually use, but I sometimes use. This is the paintbrush, the F pencil, the hard eraser, because the soft one is very annoying to work with, and the Copic Super Brush Nib, the fine line pen, the fine grain, the sparkle, which I tend to like to use for stars, and the speckled. I usually use that for, like, freckles. We have drops. I used to use that for freckles, just didn't really look right. This is dotted. It was my other attempt at freckles. This is the wet frayed bristles, which I just really like. It has a lot of, like, texture to it. And this is my color builder. It is what I use to do shading. It is possibly one of my most important brushes in all of my pack. So we're gonna go into the F pencil, and I realized that the students are not here, so let me just go in here. Alright, announcements. Student. Class has started. Okay. Yeah, they'll come when they come. So I'm going to be teaching the basics of how I draw faces. I am not a particular person who is very good with, like, anatomy. I'm just going to show you the technique I use. And I'm going to wait till my students are here because I know that one of them actually really wanted to learn about this. I realized I can't absent-mindedly doodle because that's kinda against the rules. Trying to pull up Discord just so that I make sure I have it up. Well, that's fine. So for everyone else at home, because I'm also going to be recording this and putting it up on YouTube, I guess I should just go and show the basics of how I usually draw faces. So what I usually do is I start off with like a rough shape of a circle. You know, I'm not good at making circles. It's just, when it looks circular enough, there we go. I don't usually erase the middles, I just leave it this scribbly mess. And then I decide which way the person is going to be facing. I prefer to draw people facing left, just because I'm better at drawing people facing left. And so we're gonna put those markers facing left. Now, this marker here, this up-down marker, is it is curved to the ball. Now, this is going to be the marker for the center of the face, and this is going to be the marker for the horizontal center of the face. I usually like to, at this point, grab an extra layer, and I tend to go in straight with the nose, like just choosing that, and that'll work. We're not doing anything super fancy today, just kind of hanging out. Then I tend to do either eyes or mouths, and today I'm kind of feeling the mouth, so I will make 2 dots where the mouth lies, and I will connect them. I want to do an open smile with this one. Now, reminder, this one here is the center of the face. So the highest point of the mouth should be at that center line. I had a brief moment of realizing that myself there. And the lowest point should also be at that center line. Now the question is whether or not I like this mouth. This needs to be much bigger. That's much better. Now I'm probably gonna go in with the eyes. Now, the way that you are supposed to draw faces is you're going to make a oval shape with the eyes. This is how you do it in proportion. I am not someone who does things in proportion. So, let me just slide this over a little bit. So you take this ovally shape and you put it in between, like, this one would be a little smaller because of the, you know, the way that we're doing this. It's curved to a ball. So now those ovals are the same size, and they are the eyes. So now my teacher always said it is 1.5 eyeballs to the mouth, and then half an eyeball to the eyebrows. So I'm going to make a copy of this, which is my, you know, my face, and I'm gonna put it into proportion for all of you guys so you understand what this looks like. I actually nailed that, like, that nose proportion. I actually didn't need to change anything about that. So now, that would be there. And the eyeball should be here. I'm not really going to change anything about my style, it's simply going into proportion. Keep in mind, this proportion is not always true. There are some people who have longer faces than others, and as such, things are different. But, yeah. This one is going to have that, like, perfectly proportioned face. And I don't necessarily like to follow proportion because it's kind of limiting, in my opinion. You know, you could do a lot of realistic sketches and, like, all of these, I guess, sort of normal way of drawing things. Or you could do, like, some of the more fun stuff. Like, I've always loved this anime style that I draw the eyes, and then the more cartoonish, realistic combination that I draw everything else. I feel like it gives my art style its own, like, little flair. So this is, I have all of these layers, they are all going to be merged together. So that is about in proportion. I'm not using like an actual proportion guide for this. I'm just using my memory. So let me make a brief eyeball. So now this is this guy in proportion. He's not in proportion actually. He is just off of proportion. So the thing that you need to remember is the corners of the mouth actually should line up with the pupils if you are doing this in proportion. If not, you know, feel free to make feel free to make it as big and crazy as you'd like. Actually, I feel like this guy should have a little bit of scruff down here. Probably bringing it up a little bit. I realize that this guy looks like Klein now. That's fine. So, that's how you would draw in proportion. Now, it is still like my, it's very clearly my style. It's just, the eyes are smaller. Let me fix that. looks to be about 15 minutes this thing cuts out. So it can be fixed, don't worry. It's just a minor annoyance. There we go. So we are back. And this is, yeah, like I said, this is proportion, but you can very clearly tell that it's stylized. And I kind of like that, but also I don't really like the way that this looks, more because that's just me. So I'm going to hide that layer, go back to this and this, and show you how I usually draw things. So you take this, make it kind of big. This is going to be the top lid of the eyeball, and I usually do two little. They're supposed to be like eyelashes, but they don't really look like it. It's just to give the illusion of having eyelashes. And then I'm gonna do right along that edge there. That's on the wrong layer. Even teachers make mistakes. So let's do that again. I like the look that I'm giving this guy. He's very cheerful, very happy. And none of my students are here today, so I can't show you the way I was going to do things, but that's okay. And when you're doing the other eye, you gotta kind of keep in mind that it is further in, because this one is kind of having its issues. It's okay. Not surprisingly alright for, you know, the other eye, I mean. Listen. It's okay, you can be late to class. I should probably tell him that he can be late for class, it's okay. That is my little brother. He wanted to learn how to art, so I'm teaching him. I want to make sure he shows up before I do anything else. Are you... I don't see anyone in chat. Oh, there you are. Okay. So, what you have missed is kind of a good explanation of the basics. So, before you got here, I explained how we are going to draw, the, like, structures of the face. So I am actually going to start over so that you can see and like understand. So these can all just get destroyed. I do not care about them. So the thing that you need to keep in mind is that my style, my normal style, is not in proportion. So proportion is this. So these circles are all eyes. So this should be the size of an eye. And that's how it should be. My style is significantly larger on the eyes. The nose and the mouth are a lot closer together. Hello, Shelby, how are you? So, things are not perfect when I do my art. And I don't necessarily like to draw in proportion. That's just the way I like to do things, but I'm going to show you how to do it regardless. However, I'm not going to change my style or the way I draw my eyes to like do this. So, now these guidelines are some of the most important things that you need to do. Just make a circle and make 2 curved lines on those circles. This horizontal line represents the middle of the face horizontally. This curved vertical line represents the middle of the face vertically. So, when you're drawing, this is the very middle point. I usually like to start my nose here. You know, big ol' nose. And, you know, then you can do the mouth. There we go. Big happy mouth there. But these help with, you know, keeping things in proportion. You do not need them, is the thing. Art teachers will try and insist that you need to stay in proportion, but not every art style is in proportion. Like, if you wanted to watch Frozen in proportion, it would be really, like, it's kind of unsettling. Because it doesn't look normal, it doesn't look right. So, to draw in proportion, like I said, those are the eyes. This should be where the nose starts, right here. And it should go to about here. Right? Now, this here, this part, is where the mouth starts. So, okay. This is my, you know, half-ass attempt at lips. So, the other thing is, there's a lot more detail when trying to draw more realistically, trying to draw in proportion. It's a lot harder. But it's not impossible, as long as you understand the basics of what you're doing, which is what I'm trying to teach you. Now, this line here is actually for eyebrows. So eyebrows should lie right about here. On both sides. And so that, you know, that's kind of everything. I'm trying to do a more realistic eye for this, you know, just because it looks better in proportion. Now, take away that, it kind of looks right, you know, add some of the more prominent details. It looks kind of off, but it's because you don't have a lot of details. Things are just, it's kind of eerie because it looks right, but not quite. So, another thing you should keep in mind is that the way that the eyes itself the eyes of a person actually matter, because you put the pupils should, in theory, now I didn't like actually check, but they are supposed to, they don't necessarily do, but they are supposed to line, it's also kind of at an angle, so yeah, they're supposed to be a perfect line between the pupils and the corner of the mouth. This one is kind of off, but if you understand what I'm saying, yeah, they should be about, the corner of the mouth should about line up with the pupils of the eyes. That's something my teacher taught me. I have lived by that when drawing realistically since. Now, I don't often draw realistically, as both of you in chat know. It's kind of draining. It's kind of annoying. I don't like to follow the rules. So I tend to just, go my own speed. When I draw, I usually like to start, set dead center and kind of figure out a nose. Do like a crooked witch nose. Try to make it as like janky as possible. There, yeah. Add a little more there just to be sure. So, why? No. Alright. Chat, it kind of, I had a call come in and I missed if anyone said anything. So, now I have like, we have this big old nose, and when I like to draw, these big mouths, very expressive. I tend to like to start by creating the corners of the mouth with these big, like, colored in circles. And a reminder, because this vertical line is the center of the face, or, well, the vertical center of the face, that should be the highest point when drawing the mouth. You're going to want to curve the mouth upwards, because that helps create a sense of, like, weight. And the same thing when you're doing it downwards, is that this should be the very bottom of the mouth. I don't like the way that looks, so. There we go. Now this mouth doesn't quite line up correctly. I need to fix it because that looks bad and I hate that. So. There. So we have this big old mouth, and while we're on the mouth, I will sort of show how I do teeth. Sometimes I'll just leave it like this. If I have someone with like fangs, I will start with a fang, and it's kind of finicky. I round it out and then bring it up, and then I gotta do the other tooth behind it, and then that. The same way over here, but I can't see the whole tooth there. So, what I like to do, some of these so that's kind of more expressive. Right? Now, when I do eyes, it is kind of touch or go whether or not I choose to keep them. I usually just start off with like a kind of basic sketch. I want my eyes to sit here. So I do anime style eyes in like the shape. watch much anime, but I like the way that they do eyes, so I took inspiration from it a long time ago, and I continue to use it to this day. Now, I use the twofold technique, where it's like one line here. Oh, not again. Alright, let me fix it. Alright, so, what I was saying, heathen, how dare you? Do not call your teacher a heathen. I'm teaching you how to do art. Also, you weeb, you literally have Japanese in your name. Like, in your... I'm gonna call you out on stream right now. Look at this. Look at this. This boy don't even speak Japanese. Do it. Already done. Coward. He's... I love you, but oh my god. Alright. Continuing on. That never happened. No. If you want to shout out your Twitch, give me a reason. Huh? You wanna McFrickin' shout out? Give me a good reason. And no, the reason cannot be we're family. Silence, exactly. Alright, continuing right along. I use the twofold technique. This big, it's called twofold because it's essentially just two lines. You know, get rid of this, it's womb, womb. And that's, yeah. Because you said please, no. How about this? If I grade you an A on one of your projects, I'll shout out your Twitch. So, continuing on, so I like to do these two little wings right here, because it gives the illusion of having eyelashes. But if I'm doing a woman, which I believe I am now, I like to kind of make it look like she's wearing eyeliner at first, and then connect it back down, so they have these big, like, thick eyelashes. I actually do this because my parents kept getting confused, like, what gender, like, the character I was drawing was. So I was like, alright, make their eyes more either feminine or masculine, just so that I can help them realize what gender they are. Because I already know, I don't need help, but they did. So, also continuing right along, the other thing that I do to help make eyes look more realistic is I will do the crease lines. Just, yeah, because now they have, like, it feels like it has more weight. And sometimes I will just take this and flip the eye over. This time I'm not going to do that. We're just going to go right in. And if it doesn't quite look right, you can actually change it around with this particular one. Like, that looks like it'll fit. So, you just gotta essentially copy what you did over there. And I like to darken this up just so that I know, like, this is going to be a solid dark line when I'm done. And that helps me realize, like, where my line art is going to be. it's very helpful. However, it's not a technique that everyone uses. Everyone, you know, some people prefer to have some lighter sketching, but this is just my style. I like it this way. And you can choose not to do that with your projects. And there's the other lid. And there we go, we have 2 eyes. Does anyone have any questions in chat? Let's face it, nerve too. I'm gonna get rid of it. Not moving on until you guys either 1, ask a question, or 2, say no, I have no questions. Can you go over mouths again? Yes, I can. Okay. Let me duplicate this and just completely erase that mouth. So, what I like to do with mouths is I usually just mark out where the corners are going to be first. So you take these, I just make these little bean shapes, and that's where the mouth is going to, like, end. Now, keep in mind that this line here is the very center of the face. Therefore, the highest point of the mouth should be here. So, if you want to make a big smile, it's going to be highest there. Now, this works the same way the other way around. So, the lowest point should be on that line as well. I'm having trouble with this mouth. I think it's just because of the angle of that. And then you just pull it right up to the corners. And I find that that's the easiest way that I can draw mouths. Now for teeth, because I went over teeth as I went over mouths, with normal teeth, I usually just make a line and like a indication of a canine and just so on and so forth. You know, hey, look at that. It's a teeth. But with sharp like fangs, I will usually draw the fangs first, make them very curved, very pointy. And I like to do these things, you know, you see the gums a little bit, because it makes it more expressive, more exciting. And then you go into the canine, or not the canines, the molars, and they go in the back. And, you know, you can't necessarily see the other fang as well because of the angle, but, you know, same thing, and then you do that. And that is how I draw teeth as well. So we have 2 different mouths here. I actually think I prefer the second one, so I'm gonna get rid of the first one. Anything else? Any more questions? No? Okay. So, continuing on then, the next thing is usually eyebrows for me. I want to make this one, like, you know, excitedly angry. Kind of predatory is the right word. So, I usually do a marker here, where that is the furthest point of the eyebrow. And then I'll actually do a second marker, a little bit bigger, just off from that. And that's what I draw the eyebrow off of. There you go. They're angry, but they're, you know. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this one. Any questions about eyebrows? Okay, I'll let you finish your eyebrows. Just let me know when you're done. Holy shit, a hawk just right overhead. That's fucking epic. Okay. All right. So the next thing is doing the outside of the face, like this section right here. Now I usually sort of vaguely follow my circle. I don't really need to, but I need to remind you some things about the face that you probably wouldn't notice upon like looking at it. So when drawing faces, your face actually curves in by the eyes, then comes back out and curves in before you get to the mouth, and then, you know, comes down. Chins are not, you know, anime pointy like that. They are rounder, and then you can, you know, send this up that way. So you see how much better that looks aside from like that versus that. You understanding? Yeah, okay. Making sure you're getting this. Just having trouble getting the shape right. Okay. So the shape is probably one of the most confusing things. So, because, you know, you consider the head to be an egg, but it's not quite an egg. Like, it's, you know, it actually goes out more like this, and then comes down like this. Getting rid of the extra annoying things we don't really need, I can just completely shave off that, right? So, at this point you should kind of just disregard your circle, because it's not, the face is not a circle. So, reminder, it comes in here, goes out, and this is a rounded shape. Like, even that, like, you know, these rough edges look better than like anime square like shapes. This is more an exaggerated face, just so that I can like show you guys, you know, what I mean. Do you understand? Okay. If you have any questions, you know, just feel free to ask. I'm willing to wait. I'm using the trial of something and it kicks off every, I think it's 15 minutes, or yeah, it's 15. So, sorry. Alright, making sure. Okay. Now we're going full screen again. So the next thing that I usually work on at this point is either the eyes or the ears. And I'm gonna leave it up to you, like whether you want me to work on how I do my like colored eyes or how to draw a ear eyes. Okay. So the first thing I do is I will either sketch out a circle like this, or I will use the circle tool, which actually starts as an ellipse, and I don't know why, and it's kind of annoying. And I will always put it on an extra layer, and then just duplicate it and slide it over, because I am lazy and that creates a perfect circle. So, you can do that. Now, the way I do eyes, I actually found from a tutorial. And I want to let you guys know straight up, like, you can find things from tutorials, take them into your own, like, style, and, you know, as long as you, like, find the way to, you know, you guys don't have to, like, copy my style, as long as you find a way to integrate it. So as long as you find a way to integrate what I teach you, you know, you're learning. So what I usually do is I pick a color, like this one, and I will bring it up to 50% exactly, because you can change the color. Then I will take, you know, my nice technical pen and just draw in the circle with this new color. Now it is important to get that up to 50% exactly. You will understand why in a moment. We're just gonna use that. You guys can color it in manually. I'm just gonna use the fill tool because even if you cheat, like, it's okay because you're getting art done. So now the next step is very important. See that little lock in the corner? Lock it. Now I'm going to get rid of my my sketch layer because I no longer need it. If you want to keep it, you can. You need a quick break? Okay. Take your time. When you're back, just let me know. My other student isn't here. Which this one was a bot, so I'm actually gonna delete that message. They didn't exist. just realized that this is really bright. I'm actually gonna turn down my... There. No. Just to, you know, make it more comfortable for your guys' eyes. This is just going to make it easier on everyone so that they understand what's going on. There we go. Alright. I'm going to leave this as a VOD. So if you want to, you know, if you want to come watch it, that's okay. Be safe, make sure everything's okay. Alright. So my student had to leave, and that's okay, you know. People have stuff to do. So I am just gonna carry on without him. So, taking it from that 50%, I'm going to take it down to a 25 exactly. And it makes it darker and, you know, it's in general just a very interesting color. No, you're fine. You do not have to if you do not want to. But, you know, feel free. Take your time. It's okay. So, what I use to do eyes is the Copic Super Brush nib. I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to take where I want the pupil, and I'm going to make a nice circle. But I want it bigger than the pupil. Then I'm going to take the Flow Airbrush, I'm going to make it significantly smaller than it was, and just go on top like that. Now, going back to that Copic Super Nib, I'm going to take it and softly drag it along the outside. So you should have this now. Once you guys have that, I am going to take that 25 and take it down to a 10. And this is what you're going to use to draw your pupil. So if that's as big as you want your pupil, and do that, do the other steps again, actually makes it look significantly better, because all the colors blend together nicely. Now, one might be thinking, oh, that looks great, we don't need to do anything else. But, go back to that 50%, we create a new layer. And the layer blending mode that I always put it on is called Soft Glow. And you'll see what that does in a second. Like that dark color now glows. Now, you just do that using your Super Nib, and I actually need to move that in a little bit more. And then I just merge it down. Now, find the brightest section and grab that color. Now, the rest is kind of optional. Well, this particular part, but I like to do it. You're going to draw little lines all from the center. It looks kind of weird at first. It doesn't really make sense, but it'll make sense in a minute. Yeah? You zoom out, looks kind of weird. But if you take this, duplicate the layer, and go back to that technical pen, just white out all of that. Oh god, just dropped my pen. And just turn the opacity down to 50%. Now it looks like there's a shine in that eye. And you can use the airbrush to make another shine in this part of the eye. But then what I do, take the technical pen, just go back in. When I do one there, I always do one going into the pupil. And that's how I draw my eyes. Now, because I don't want to draw a second one, I'm actually just going to, I'm going to cheat. And the saying, cheaters never prosper, they're just wrong. They're just straight wrong. Cheaters always prosper. We get things done significantly faster. So, if you cheated like me, congrats, you have two very nicely done eyes. And if you want to, you can actually duplicate these and, you know, change the color of the eye using a a color mode where it changes things. It doesn't look incredible, but you just changed the color of the eye in 2 seconds if you did not like that color. Like, let's make them red. Doesn't look great, but the color of the eye has been changed. Actually, surprisingly, the brown looks pretty good. And then straight back to the other one. Doesn't have the same amount of, like, you know, dark and light contrast. But it is still, like, it's something. It's some way to quickly change it. So, yep, alright. I prefer those color eyes. Actually, a lot of my characters have these bright turquoise eyes, just because I think they're pretty. Now, I'm going to merge down that layer of jaw down to everything else, and then I'm going to pull back up that extra layer, because now we're going to be working on ears. And I usually use this dark layer, or that dark color for my sketching. I don't like to use black, it just looks kind of nasty. And that is just my opinion, you guys can use black if you want to. So, continuing right along, right about where the eyes are. Okay, did not mean to pick that color. But right about where the eyes are, you know, right about here. You're gonna make a line out of the skull. The very basic shape is line, 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 round, right? So, just kind of make it as you see fit. This ear is a little bit big, actually. I need to make it a bit smaller. There we go. Now I don't need that anymore. So drawing ears has always been a tricky thing to me. I used to just go like that because I did not like, you know, dealing with all the little twists and turns, until I found a way that made it super easy. What you're gonna do is make 2 lumps next to each other. Then a line up and a line down. Yes? Okay. Make a lump here. Make a lump here. Or make a line there. Alright, it screen mirrored and shut off again. Great, incredible, fantastic, thank you. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is like a line here and a line here. Congratulations, you have a fairly fairly detailed ear that looks like an ear. It's significantly easier than I originally thought it was, and I still do not like the placement of the ear. You can shift it around as much as you want to. There we go. That's better. Yeah, it should not be that low on the chin. That's just me being tired. So the next thing that I usually work on is hair, which is kind of difficult to explain. Hair is hard in all of the senses of the word. It's very difficult to attempt to draw, and if you have no idea how to draw hair at all, it's hard to do it for your first thing. So, explaining quickly, hair is, I always use hair as like chunks. I will draw one chunk at a time, one big chunk, and I treat it sort of as like ribbon. It twists and turns around. So, you know, you can do stuff like this, and then let it all flow apart from each other. With sketching, you don't need to be like super detailed. I tend to go in with individual strands so that later I know where I'm going to ink, because I ink all of my individual strands of hair. If anyone didn't know, yeah, I do that, and it is so time consuming, but I feel like it looks significantly better in the long run. So, going in, hair, you can sort of just go hog wild with it. You know, you don't need to have any rhyme or reason, just follow your chunk, and you should be good. Like, I have no, like there, congrats, we have hair. It's, the thing that I usually do is I like to do extra strands like this. It makes it look more flowy, gives it more dimension. I usually do an extra strand here as well, just because it's a big section of, like, it's a big, large section of hair together, but because I had the other strand, I felt like it is good by itself. So that is my basics on how to draw hair. Now, how to draw a hair on a person is kind of a different story. The first thing you're going to want to do is find the part of the hair, which I believe it's going to be right here for this one. Because I have an idea for this woman's hair. It's kind of be a bit difficult. So you can shift around the hair part as much as you want, as long as you eventually settle on something. So you can merge that down into your sketch layer, so you can delete it all at once. Now, first thing I do, I like to do a lot of hair that swoops like that. I'm actually going to do that with this one too. So I'm going to take a nice large chunk of hair, I'm going to put it down into her face a little bit, and then I'm going to swoop it up, because I want her to have like a kind of messy style mohawk. And then you just go in and fill in the gaps here, because you do need to have a hairline. And it needs to look somewhat natural. Like, for doing places where the hair is shaved, I usually will map it out and just say this is, you know, this is where the hair is, this is where the hair will not be, this is just how these things go. So, now continuing on, these, I like to do these big long tufts of like fluff. Because I've always loved fluffy hair, that's always been a fun thing for me. Now, you can just do as much hair as you want, you know. Bring it up, make it crazy. And you really don't need to follow any of, you know, any of my strokes, any of the thing that I'm doing. As long as you know how you want to draw hair, then you got it. Okay. Sometimes your sketch layer will get in the way. You can turn it off as long as you know like where the hairline is, where you need more hair. Like, I know I need more hair back here, so that it looks fuller. I also need more hair back here, so that it looks, you know, like a head. My favorite thing to do is like add some crazy strands. Just add the part so that it kind of shows it. It gives more personality to the drawing. Like most people can say, you know, this is like a. I guess it like shows the character's personality more. Those who have like the super neat kept hair, you understand, are super organized, you know, they're more than often like leaders. But those that are messy, they're like either the hotheads, you know, or they're just like chaotic. And I have a feeling that this one is both a hothead and chaotic. So she's her own breed. And I feel like this is like a crazy character. Not like crazy, but like, you know, a fun character is more what I wanted to say. Yeah, that'll do. So, as for the hair, I want to actually up this a little bit more. There. And then bring this back, and then there we go. So that's how I'm drawing faces and heads. I actually want a couple of further out strands of hair. Why are there not more strands in her face? She does not look like she cares. And these are not very well kept. Yeah, that'll do. So I'm actually going to turn this, what was mole, into like a nose piercing, and just move it around a little bit once I merge layers together and stop trying to move it on the wrong layer. So I'm actually going to move it up here, so it's like a piercing in between the nose there. I think she should be kind of like that rebel character. Oh god. Kind of like a Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles character. Sorry, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, probably like 2012, like 2003. And once you get to this point, you usually don't need the sketch anymore. Or, well, the base layer. You don't really need that anymore. You have everything you really want to. And, yeah. I think that's all I really need. Or, like, all I can really explain. the other thing I should explain while I'm doing this, jewelry, I don't know how to draw. I cannot draw jewelry. So I kind of just draw like these and hope that that makes it look good. And you kind of just bring things down, and you know, just, yeah, that doesn't look right. I don't like that. Actually, I know what. There we go. Yeah, and so since my only student is gone, can't really ask anybody if they have any questions. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will gladly answer them. And if you want to join, I'm probably gonna do this tomorrow. This is a lot of fun. So if you would like, I'll probably continue this like teaching sketch and bring it down and continue it into like a full person. And I want to let everyone know, like, while we're here, I will also probably be eventually talking about character design and using specific shapes and angles to create a specific type of character. So if you notice, I have a lot of sharp angles in this one. So I'm making good use of the triangle motif. So, you know, like, let me just use a different color, red. Like, you know, the nice triangles in each of these. All of these are triangles. I have this triangle here. This is made out of a giant triangle. This is another one. I have a lot of triangles like in the noses. This is not hard to see. So there's like some things that you should be keeping eye out for is the like bits of character design things is that the more triangles, the more sharp edges that you use, it shows the character of it shows the character of a character. Like, I'm using a lot of sharp edges, a lot of spikies. I have a lot of spikies here, and it shows that this character is more like aggressive. It's kind of disappointing. Triangles are usually used to symbolize evil people, but I don't think that that's fair because, like, you know, it's such a fun motif. I love triangle motifs. Most of my characters are speed-based, so they have triangle motifs because it's another like speed thing. Like all of those are triangles. There's another sharp edge right here. So, I might as well talk about it while I'm on the topic. There are three different shapes that you can use while creating a character. Triangle, square, circle. So, from what I remember, triangles are like speed, aggressive, like kind of hostile, or like mean, I think is the one. They're supposed to be like mean. A square is someone who can like support you, so it's support, strong, very strong. And they're just sort of sturdy. You know, they keep people safe. Most square characters are very large. Like the first square character I think of is is Stoic from How to Train Your Dragon. Okay. Let me just bring that back. No. Just gotta bring that back. There we go. So, Stoic the Vast from How to Train Your Dragon is this massive, like, guy who's very, like, you know, he protects his people. Now, circles they are soft and huggable. They're very nice, and they're supposed to be very sweet. So they are essentially the complete opposite to triangles. So the more circles that you use in your design, the more, like, you know, the more nice and how sweet they are. Now, you can use a circle, you can use it like you see this, and I think like a mom, like a very kind, caring mom. Or like the kind best friend who's trying to keep the other person safe. This body type is very, like, very round, very wholesome. Now, I have to erase that. The other side of this is squares. I think of, like, the big dad who's, like, trying to... This is another one with a lot of hard edges. You see a lot of, like, squarish body types. You can't ever have a perfectly square. Like, what's that word? Pelvis, so, yeah. Then you see, like, stuff like that, and you're like, oh, that's a protector, they're very strong, they're gonna keep people safe. And the other one is, speed. So, I have trouble doing triangle-based motifs, but, yeah. So, something like this, a lot of, like, kind of hourglass shapes, and then that. Now, to actually put that into, like, perspective, it would be a lot of, like, now this is like an absurd body type, not a lot of people would have this. You can do this and have a larger character. I'm just, you know, using the triangles that I made, just not paying attention to anything. So, it's kind of more difficult to maintain. Triangles are very difficult for me, personally, but I love to use the triangle aesthetic. So, yeah. That's all there is for, like, shape characters. Just know that other colors often help with things. Like, if you want someone to feel, like, fiery or very, you know, someone who people are gonna look at and be like, oh yeah, they're gonna go, like, start a fight, or, like, they're super sweet, very wholesome. The first thing that I think of, you know, person gonna go start a fight, fire. Like, so if you have, like, fiery motifs in their designs, where they have, like, these, like, orange hair, maybe it's dyed, so it's like it's a darker orange that fades into, like, yellow, which I actually think would be pretty cool, actually. So, you know. something like that. Oh, that is still there. I don't need that. Okay. So, like, you know, something like this. Bright, like warm colors, in bright saturated like this. Reds, oranges, blacks. Well, not black, more like gray, dark gray, kind of work together really well, and it creates like a sense of smoke, fire, and I like that. That's fun. But on the other hand, if you do like a lavender and like some muted colors, it, the what's the word? The cool color spectrum often is like, you know, it makes people think of like softer things, not like calm. It makes people think calm. So it's like two opposites of the spectrum. Now, if you choose like a burgundy, or like a burnt orange, the things that I tend to think of is like, you know, I think of burnt orange and I think of either like the old car that my dad used to have, or I think of like burnt orange sweaters, and I don't know why, but there are certain things that like make specific people think specific things. So if you feel like, you know, I'm gonna use this muted version of this usually bright color to convey a different message, that is just as valid. So yeah, and also, because I just realized this, keep in mind when doing, like this character I just said has dyed hair. I'm gonna say they're like a blonde usually. So I'm gonna grab like that color there. So their eyebrows are always their natural like color. Unless they dye their eyebrows too. Now, this one hasn't had a chance to dye her hair in a bit because of COVID. So, there you go. Now the roots are kind of getting back in, and it's kind of that color again, and darker with when you have shaved your head. It is always your natural skin tone combined with your natural skin or hair color. It's like a nice combination of the two. It's hard to do when I don't have a skin color. I'm gonna do that on a different episode. Skin is something that takes a long time. So it'll be something like that. So yeah, I actually think that's gonna close out today's episode, because we have finished heads, we've finished faces, we've finished some coloring techniques. I showed you how I did my eyes, and yeah. So for this week's assignment, I would like everyone, whoever wants to participate, to show up or to post in art projects a nice finished sketch of a head. It doesn't not have to be like any particular character. I would prefer if you made a new one. Like, I know some people in particular have a lot of characters that they go to draw for comfort. I do the same thing. So what you should do is just make up someone on the fly, like I did with this, and try to implement some of the techniques that I taught you this week. Maybe try how to draw hair, maybe try the way I did eyes. And it does not have to be completely colored. However, I will give bonus points if it is. Now, I'm going to repeat that. I will give bonus points if it is completely colored. So that is going to end today's assignment. Or, well, not today's assignment, today's stream. Today's assignment is, like I just explained. Go do that head. It's, that would actually be considered a headshot, by the way. if anyone does not know. So go forth, go impart your drawing knowledge to the world, and I will see you guys tomorrow. This is not the only stream that I'm going to be doing this week. I am very much enjoying this. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, I'm trying to alt tab and it's not working. Great.